Hello and welcome to this week's West Asia Post with me, Ghadi Francis, our weekly show where we bring you stories from the world's most volatile region. A very happy, blessed new year to all of our viewers. As we step into 2021, the last year was a monumental one for West Asia. So in this week's episode, we bring you a highlight of everything that happened in 2020 in West Asia and the consequences it holds for this year. We start with the killing of Qasem Soleimani. The death of the Iranian general rocked the region, and things have not been the same ever since.
January 3rd, 2020. An airstrike takes place near the Baghdad International Airport. The attack, ordered by the United States, kills several Iranian and Iraqi military officials, including top military general Qasem Soleimani. The brazen manner of the attack, the drone strike near the cargo area, and a tweet by the US president with the American flag on it. Everything about this killing was extraordinary. And Iran-US relations have never been the same ever since. One of Iran's most powerful men, Soleimani's killing took the region by storm. The silver-haired general was a cult figure in Iran. Right after his death, Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei declared him a martyr. Millions took to the streets of the country, mourning their beloved leader. Khamenei himself was seen in tears at his funeral. And not just Iran, there were marches in memory of Soleimani across West Asia, in neighboring Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and Yemen. Iran called this an act of international terrorism and vowed revenge for the killing. For Iran, Soleimani was their hero. The 62-year-old headed the Revolutionary Guard's Quds Force, an elite unit that handled Iran's overseas operations. Rising to prominence during the country's Islamic Revolution, Soleimani soon became an indispensable figure in Iran. He commandeered militias in neighboring countries. Under his leadership, Iran bolstered the Hezbollah in Lebanon, expanded its military presence in Iraq and Syria, and spread Iran's influence across West Asia. This made Soleimani the second most powerful figure in Iran, only after Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei. Conflicts in the region gave him the opportunity to expand influence, and the top military commander did just that. He wielded several powerful militias and proxies, many of which have been designated as terrorist organizations. This is where the United States comes in. For the US, Soleimani was a terrorist, one responsible for the deaths of millions. The US blamed Soleimani for the deaths of several American personnel. After his killing, the State Department said, Soleimani was actively developing plans to attack American diplomats and service members in Iraq and throughout the region, unquote. Days later, Iran attacked US soldiers in Iraq. While the United States maintains that no one was killed, several soldiers are said to have suffered traumatic brain injuries. Either way, Iran's response has been highly muted. As for the Quds Force, under new leadership, it is no longer a popular mobilization force. Organizational changes may have impacted that to some extent, but it still remains a dominant force in the region. Meanwhile, Iran continues to play up Soleimani's assassination, his martyrdom mentioned by the country's media frequently.
In the next few days, the rule of the savage murderer who committed many crimes will be over, and his life and history will be left in the trash. And we are happy that the Trump's era is over before the anniversary of Soleimani's martyrdom.
The general was a part of the Islamic Republic's projection of power. He held an almost mythical status in the country, crucial to the image of a powerful Iran, one that covered up the reality of a troubled country. And it looks like, even after a year, Iran has no replacement for him. West Asia Bureau, WION, World is One.